All right. Now that we went over the basic rules of the league, some of the new offensive and defensive rules that we'll be subject to, why don't we spend a little bit of time talking about concepts? Okay. And really, concepts are what I mean by concepts is sort of ideas or uh, sort of frameworks, if you will, around the things that we need to do on offense and defense when we talk about offense or defense. When we use specific words, those specific words have concepts associated with them. And so I just want to talk a little bit about the various concepts that we'll try our best to implement this year to the best of our abilities. Let's talk about offensive concepts first. Okay. The first offensive concept that we'll talk about is the concept of a formation. Okay. Now, all formation means, when you hear the word formation, what it means, a formation is how we line up when we're playing offense so that we can go ahead and execute our plays. Okay, so I'm going to call this the line of scrimmage again. Here's our football. We're the offense, and we're running this way. Okay, so here's our football. A formation is how we line up, how we position our bodies in relationship to the football. So on every single play that we have, this is always going to be true. We're going to have a center who snaps the football to a quarterback, and they're going to be lined up just like this. So football, center, quarterback. So we're playing 5-on-5. So we already have 1, 2 players to account for. The other 3 players that we use, we can put them in any sort of position that we want, and the reason the reason why we would go and use multiple positions is to get the defense moving in a different direction, or basically to try to trick the defense into doing something that we want them to do, so we could take advantage of it. But as a starting point, we are going to be in formations every time that we go and snap the football. Okay, so we're basically going to use 2 formations, okay? And conceptually, we're going to use 2 terms, 2 words to define what formation we're trying to be in. The first word that we're going to use is single back. Okay? Single back means, again, this is always the same, 1, 2. Single back means we are going to have a running back, 1, single meaning 1, back meaning running back, single back. So center, quarterback, always there. This is our third player, single back, and then we can take, so now we have 1, 2, 3, we have 2 more players to put in a formation. Our base formation in single back is going to be 1 wide out here and 1 wide out here. Okay, so this looks like a line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single back. When you think of the word single back, think of, okay, we don't have to plan for these 2 because we know the center and the quarterback, because we know they're going to be lined up right with the football. So football's there, line of scrimmage, football, center, and center snapping the football to the quarterback. They are in a line, these 2. What do we do with the other players? Well, we're going to have a single back. Single, 1, back, running back. Single back. 1, 2, 3, and then we can do we can do whatever we want with these other 2 receivers here. We can put them out here, 1 on each side. We can put both of them on the same side. But ultimately, conceptually, when you hear the word single back, I want you to think that there's 1 running back, and then we have 3 players already assigned. We always have a center. We always have a quarterback, so we don't need to worry about those in terms of lining up. They're always going to line up in the same place. But single back means one running back, and then that leaves us with two other players to make assignments on. Okay, so that's the concept of single back as a formation. Okay, the second concept for formation that we're going to use is pretty straightforward here. So we're going to go, let me just erase this here. So we always have our center and our quarterback in the same position. I shouldn't have erased that. So 1, 2. The second concept that we're going to use when we pick a formation, which is how we line up on the offensive side of the ball, we're going to use a concept and a terminology, a word called empty. What empty means, single back meant single, one, back, running back, which means that we're going to have a running back behind the quarterback, and that's where they sit. Empty means we're not going to have a running back. So when coaches use the word empty backfield, no running back, and that means that we have 3 wide receivers to put on either side of the football, and we can have all 3 be on one side. We can have 2 on one side and 1 on the other. Okay, and we're the offense going this way, so you can see what that is. Or we can have this one be here and 1 on this side. There's a bunch of different things that we can do, but conceptually, when you're thinking about the concept, when we use the term empty and we're on offense, what we really mean is that there's no running back here. And instead of being a running back here, there's going to be another wide receiver. Okay? Again, formation concepts, that's sort of what those are the words that we're going to try to use when we're lined up on offense to help you athletes line up in a place that makes sense so that we can run some plays. Okay? Those are formation concepts. Now, when we are in formations, the formations are us to be able to start a play. So it doesn't matter whether we're running or passing. We have to end up in a formation before we can hike the ball and run a play. Now that we have some idea of the formations that we're going to use, those are the only 2 that we're going to use this year, empty and single back. Now that we have an idea of those formations, now we're going to talk about running concepts.